Hello students, welcome back to next new session of Social Studies digital class. Children, in this session we will start chapter 18. In previous session already you have learnt about the first phase of independent India. That means after attaining independence in 1947, the first 30 years the political events you have learnt in that chapter. Did you remember, children? Let's have a quick recap of that events. Children, in that first phase of independent India, we have learnt about the first general elections, and there was only one party dominance in the country, that is Indian National Congress Party. Yes, then we have learnt about the demand for and creation of states based on languages, and there was also a race for regional parties. Most prominently, this first phase ended with emergency period. Okay, as a continuation to that chapter, we will discuss this chapter, that is emerging political trends from 1977 to 2000. Okay children, are you all ready with your textbooks? Okay, we'll go further. Emerging political trends 1977 to 2000. Children, this lesson we will learn in two parts. Today in part 1 we will discuss about the different political events that polarized, that means event divided the political landscape of our country. So let us examine these events. Because of all these political events, there was a change in the party system, that is multi-party system. We have seen in the previous chapter that the first 30 years there was only one party dominance, single party dominance was there, that is Congress Party ruled. But in this second phase of independence, there emerged the multi-party system, which led to coalition governments. Coalition governments means nothing but when a single party cannot gain majority in elections, two or more political parties will form the government, that is coalition government. And secondly, there was a major shift in the development strategy. That means many developmental changes took place in this period. Thirdly, religious issues used for political mobilization. That means in this second phase of independence, during this period, many important political issues arose which led to political mobilization. And as a result of all this, there was an impact on the fundamental values of constitution and social and economic changes occurred. Children, let us see the contents of this part 1. What we are going to learn in this part 1. We will learn about the end of emergency and formation of Janata Party in 1977, and there was a formation of Congress government led by Indira Gandhi in 1980, and there was also emergence of regional aspirations. Regional aspirations means a strong desire of the people of a particular region or a place. In this context, or in this regard, we will study about 3 states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Assam and Punjab. And we will also learn about Operation Blue Star and assassination of Indira Gandhi in 1984. Children, by the end of this session, you will be identifying the major changes in party system during the second phase of independence, and you will understand how these regional aspirations lead to formation of regional parties. And you will be able to analyze what is Operation Blue Star. Okay, let us go in detail of these aspects. Return of democracy after emergency. This period between 1975 to 1985 was a testing time for Indian democracy. This period began with a state of emergency in which basic democratic rights were denied. And this period ended with the historic electoral victory of Congress led by Rajiv Gandhi. This period, though it was started with ruling of Congress party, here they saw the alternatives for Congress party. See, viable alternatives, the emergence of alternatives to the Congress both at the center and the state. We have seen in the previous session that the first 30 years ruled by single Congress party, single party, that is Congress. So there was no other opposition party even in the center or at the states. But during this second phase, the alternatives to Congress party were emerged. And there were different political viewpoints also emerged. These political viewpoints of socialist, Hindu nationalist and communist, and even as well as sectional interests like those of farmers, Dalits, backward classes and regions came to the fore and asserted their claims. During this period only, the non-political movements also emerged. Let us see what are they. The environmental, the powerful motors of social change, that are environmental movements, that means the movements that took place for the protection of environment. Feminist movements. Feminist movements means the movements relating to different issues of women, either for equality or for the rights of political rights and other rights, and also even against the domestic violence on the women. And civil liberties movement. Children, what are civil liberties? Civil liberty means nothing but an freedom of action, freedom to express or believe or thought, and even it also includes that owning a property or defending oneself. So civil liberties movements also occurred during this period, and literacy movements were also took place. 1977 elections and the end of emergency. When elections were announced in January 1977 by Indira Gandhi, it took everyone by surprise. The major political parties came together to challenge the Congress. So what are those other major political parties that came against the Congress party? The Congress, that means this party divided from the main Indian National Congress party. Swatantra Party, Bharatiya Janasangh, Bharatiya Lokdal and the Socialist Party. All these parties decided to merge together. That means they came together as one party and formed as Janata Party. Janata Party is also, in other words, it was called as People's Party. In 1977, a historic election for Indian democracy. The Congress party was defeated at the national level for the first time and the Janata Party came to power. Mr. 𝗚𝗎𝗓 Reddy was unanimously, that means everyone agreed him to be elected as the Speaker of the 6th Lok Sabha on 26th March 1977. And later he was elected as the President of India, supported by all parties including Congress on 25th July 1977. So 𝗚𝗎𝗓 Reddy, he was unanimously, that means all the parties, opposition party including Congress party, everyone agreed him to be elected as the 6th President of Independent India. You can see 𝗂𝗏 Reddy, 6th President of India. One interesting thing here is during his term of office, 𝗂𝗏 Reddy had to work with 3 governments under 3 Prime Ministers, Morarji Desai, Charan Singh and Indira Gandhi. And the victorious Janata Party dismissed 9 Congress governments in the states. After Janata Party came to power, it has dismissed in 9 states where the Congress Party was ruling. Let us see some opposition parties of 1970s. BLD, Bharatiya Lok Dal. This is a party which was formed of socialists who called for special attention to the Indian farmers based mainly in Uttar Pradesh. Congress O. This is a conservative section of the Congress which had opposed the policies of Indira Gandhi. And CPIM, that means Communist Party of India based on the Marxist, means based on the principles of Karl Marx. A party which strove for radical land reforms, trade unionism and socialist policies. Next, DMK, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. This is a party based mainly in Tamil Nadu which sought greater autonomy, freedom and powers for the state. Janasangh, a Hindu nationalist party largely confined to the northern states. And there was SAD, Shiromani Akali Dal. This is a party based in Punjab, especially the Sikh people, and organized around Gurudwaras, had a semi-religious character. It was also in favor of greater autonomy to the states. This Janata Party promised a restoration of democracy and freedom from authoritarian rule. We have seen during the emergency period, all the democratic principles were denied. The fundamental rights of the people were also cancelled. So, this Janata Party, after coming to the power, promised the people to restore the democracy to the country. And Morarji Desai was the first non-Congress Prime Minister of India. But, however, the disunity among the partners of this government had a serious effect on the governance, soon led to the fall of the government within 3 years to fresh elections in 1980. That means, so though they have given a strong challenge to the Congress party, but they could not stable government. They could not build a stable government in the country. So there was disunity among the rulers and finally it led to elections within 3 years. So Congress party returned to power in 1980. The Congress immediately paid back by dismissing the Janata and non-Congress governments in the 9 states. See, this was like previously Janata Party, when it came to power, it dismissed all the Congress governments in 9 states. Again, Congress, when came to power in 1980, it dismissed all the non-Congress governments in the states. And the Congress was victorious in all the states except Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. The non-Congress regional parties like SAD, Shiromani Akali Dal and the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam attempted to come together to form a common front in support of greater say in national level decision making, lower interference in state matters and stopping misuse of President's rule. So what is President's rule? President's rule, as per the Article 356 of the Constitution, the governor of a state can recommend to the President the dismissal of state government and even dissolution of state assembly if he or she is convinced that the government is not able to administer the state as per the Constitution. And the President may then, on the advice of the Prime Minister, dismisses the state government and order the governor to take over the administration of the state. This is president's rule. So whenever anything is going on in the state which is not controllable by the government in the state, the governor can recommend to the president to dissolve this government in the state. Then the president will give the orders to take over the government into the hands of governor. That is called president's rule. Using this president's rule, some cases were happened that this rule was misused, but later with the judgment of Supreme Court, there were many restrictions were kept on the president's rule. Then after, this rule was used in a proper manner. Let us see the emergence of regional aspirations. There were three movements for a greater autonomy. Autonomy means freedom in different parts of India. That is Andhra Pradesh, Assam and Punjab. While studying these three movements, try to identify the similarities and dissimilarities between these movements. They represent three strands of the demands for autonomy. Let us start with Andhra Pradesh. There was a feeling that Andhra Pradesh leadership was not getting respect from the National Congress leadership. This was there in most of the states. Some states felt that the center government is not giving a proper preference at the center for the states. So, in Andhra Pradesh, a popular, charismatic, famous film actor N.T. Rama Rao felt that it is an insult to the pride of the Telugu people. So, he on his 60th birthday in 1982 started a political party named as Telugu Desam Party, TDP party. So, N.T. Rama Rao said that the TDP stood for the honor and self-respect of the Telugu speaking people. In Telugu, it is known as Telugu Vari Atma Gauravam. So, N.T. Rama Rao introduced some welfare schemes which became a famous or very popular in the country. Let us see what are they. The welfare measures by TDP party. Midday meal scheme in government schools. Secondly, sale of rice at rupees 2 per kg to the poor people, and he also prohibited the liquor. So, these very popular measures helped TDP to sweep the elections in 1982. So, here one interesting incident happened. That is, after forming the government by TDP party in Andhra Pradesh, in 1984, N.T. Rama Rao, he went to United States for a surgery. Meanwhile, the governor in the state appointed N. Bhaskar Rao as a chief minister, but later after returning from United States, N.T. Rama Rao, he campaigned and he convinced that and proved that he has the support of major MLAs. Then the central government dismissed the governor in the state and appointed a new governor and also reappointed N.T. Rama Rao as a chief minister. In this regard, N.T. Rama Rao got the support of different political parties of different states and even at the national level. Next, second state is Assam. Let us see what kind of movement took place in this state. In Assam, besides Assamese, Bengali was also a major spoken language. Assamese speaking people felt that the Bengali officialdom did not treat them as equals. They felt that they are treated as a second citizens. To the worst, lot of migration from across the border of Bangladesh. So here a problem for Assam is that it is having border with Bangladesh. So there are demographic borders, like some places there are rivers and some places there are mountains. So they cannot be a fixed margin for the boundaries. So what happens whenever there are some problems in Bangladesh? Thousands of people used to migrate to Assam. So this is a major problem for Assam. Apart from Bengali speaking people, Here this is the migration of Bangladesh people is also a problem for Assam. So this unhappiness transformed into a social movement and all Assam Students Union was formed. And this youth organization spread across the state, and besides cultural and demographics, there was also economic dimension to this issue. That is, trade and other established were in the hands of non-Assamese communities. Say for example, Assam is famous for tea plantation. Yes? So this tea plantation and even the oil, the resources of this tea and oil did not benefit to the local Assamese people. So they mainly demanded that the local people should be given greater preference in employment, and also the outsiders means who? The people who came from other country, Bangladesh. So the outsiders should be removed and these resources should be benefited to the local Assamese. And these demands, however, created communal polarization. Polarization means division. So the division based on the community. So this communal polarization occurred as most of the outsiders who came from the neighboring country were Muslims. This movement soon began to be an anti-Bengali, anti-left and anti-non-Assamese. So finally what happened? An agreement was signed by the central government and the AASU, All Assamese Student Union, at the initiative of the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1984. To restore the normal conditions, the elections were conducted. In these elections, Assam Gana Parishad, AGP, it is an offshoot of AASU, means it is a political party formed from All India Assamese Student Union, and this party won the elections and came to power in Assam. However, this political transition, the change in the political power, did not resolve the long-term problem of the Assam. What is that long-term problem? The border with Bangladesh could not be sealed and not possible to difference between the old Bengali settlers and fresh immigrants. And there was too much emphasis on the ethnic identities, had a negative impact on other communities also. So they also demanded for autonomous status. Due to all these problems, people started asking for a separate state for their community. So these kind of problems were not solved even with the new government in Assam. And this movement led to violent attempts of ethnic cleansing. That means the mass expulsion or killing of members of one ethnic or religious groups in an area by those of another. That means people started killing one another. One ethnic group start having hatred on other group, they started killing other people. So that is ethnic cleansing. And there was a forcible eviction of minority tribal communities by even outright mass killing in many parts of Assam. So this was a very big problem for the Assam. The central government stepped up and deployed of armed forces. It sent its army people, military people to reduce the tensions and bring peace because of three factors. What are those three? It was a sensitive border area adjacent to China, Burma and Bangladesh countries. And the rebels often demanded for separation of India and procured arms, that means weapons, from outside. They started getting weapons from other countries, and the rebels indulged in large-scale ethnic violence against minority communities. In Assam, a broad-minded approach is required rather than a narrow-minded and quick solutions. Let us see the third state, that is Punjab. Here in Punjab also, they also wanted for autonomy. Here also there is a problem of language. Difference in language and religion became a point of mobilization, and claims to the new capital city of Chandigarh. Chandigarh was a common capital for Punjab and Haryana. So they wanted a new capital. There was another demand by the Punjab was more water from the Bakra Nangal dam, and also a greater recruitment of Sikh in the army. So Akali Dal had passed a set of resolutions in 1978 during Janata Party rule at the centre to implement all these demands. Government was dismissed. So the dismissal of Akali government and the return of Congress in 1980 added to the already surcharged atmosphere. That means already there are more tensions in the Punjab which are to be solved, but the Congress government came and dismissed the Akali government, made more tension. So there was a leader named Bhindranwale. He was a leader of the militant group, and he started preaching separatism. He wanted a separate state for Sikh, and that is known as Khalistan. So this person, Bhindranwale, occupied Golden Temple, which is in Punjab, Amritsar, and the military army had to intervene to vacate the premises of Golden Premises. This action is known as Operation Blue Star. See, in detail we will know. Operation Blue Star was a code name of Indian military action which was carried out between 1st and 8th June of 1984 in order to capture the Sikh leader J.S. Bhindranwale and his followers, along with the demolition of the buildings, that is Golden Temple at Amritsar in Punjab. So after this incident, after Blue Star capturing the Sikh militant leader, this was followed by the assassination of Indira Gandhi. Assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1984. All the raids means attacks on the Sikh people, especially in Delhi, which thousands of Sikhs were attacked and murdered and their properties were destroyed. So after Indira Gandhi's death, Rajiv Gandhi came to power, and as a Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi held talks with SAD and entered an agreement with Sant Langoval, the SAD president. But this was also could not find the solution because Langoval was assassinated by the militants. In April 1986, an assembly at the Akali Takht made a declaration for the independent state for Khalistan. This was a decade of violence and conflict in Punjab. In 1991 alone, in 1 year only, there was about 1,000 people were killed. But finally, peace returned to Punjab by the end of 1990s. When we see the attacks on this situation was viewed as two sides. Some people opinion that this is justified, and some people said this could not be justified. See, many observers felt that such violations of constitutional rights and human rights were justified, as the constitutional machinery was on the edge of collapse due to militant activity. Even judges at that time were afraid of passing adverse judgments. But some other observers felt that such use of extra constitutional powers by the state cannot be justified. In the long run, it would strengthen undemocratic tendencies in the polity. So children, with this we will conclude part 1, and we shall discuss more in the next session. Improve your learning. Read the textbook thoroughly and find the answers for this. Identify the major changes in party system during the second phase of independence and what is president's role, and explain Operation Blue Star, and compare the similarities and differences between Assam and Punjab movements, and what kind of challenges did they pose to our political system. That's all for today's session, children. Let us meet in another session with continuation of this chapter. For better understandings of the concepts, solve the worksheets given for you and please visit the official site of SCERT. Thank you children.